Madonna do Carmen, aiutici tu.
And benvenuti, fellas and bellas all over the world. Welcome to the post-game rant on the Raf and Raf rant. I am Raf Pizarro, joined by my co-host, the Vicar of Sovias, Rafa Rispo. And today with us, we have Giuseppe D'Angis from Calcio Napoli Club. And welcoming back Vincenzo Bertillo. Welcome, guys. How are we doing today?
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Guys.
Thank you.
Pleasure, guys.
Thank you for having me here, guys. I appreciate it.
Pleasure, guys, and hello to everybody in the chat. Let's get this rant on the road. Napoli defeat Genoa today, 2-1, and certainly I wouldn't call it a nail biter, but a very close game. But let's go over the stats before we dive into it all, guys. Hang tight for me. I'm gonna get you going here.
Well, Rafi pulls the stats up. I just want to say thank you for everybody who's downloading and subscribing to Far From Vesuvius. The audio podcast of this rant is available, and if you're listening live, we're live here, but if you're listening on that, I just want to say thank you very much. And Rafi, we got the stats going or what?
Let's go, baby. I'm waiting.
Let's do it.
In fact, speaking of Far From Vesuvius, our stats are brought to you by that group. Be sure to check them out on Twitter at farfromvesuvius.com. Today's lineup, guys. Moret in goal today again with Ruiz to the left. Catches an assist and the yellow card today. Koulibaly, what a game with Manolis in the middle. Di Lorenzo to the right. Also a yellow card. So-so on that performance. Guys, midfield today. Elmas. Lobotka in the middle with Ruiz. We played that 4-3-3 formation today. We had those three in the middle. Up top, we had Lozano to the left today. Insigne playing that central role as that false nine, and then Politano to the right. We saw our substitutes today. Juan Jesus in the 91st minute gets his debut start today, along with Gaetano coming in for Elmas. We saw a switch on the left side with Lozano. We saw Unas coming in on the 70th minute, and then Petagna with the game-winning header at the end of the game there, man. Boy, super emotional, guys. Going on to the game stats, 39% possession with 61% dominating with SSC Napoli. 3 chances to 14 by Napoli. 2 yellow cards versus 3 for Napoli. Not as bad as the first game that we saw last week. 4 corners versus 5. Pass percentage, so-so for each team. 78% for Genoa. SSC Napoli coming in with 86. Going to the game shots, guys. 6 total shots for Genoa, 13 coming from SSC Napoli. 2 missed shots and 3 missed shots for Napoli. 2 for Genoa, 3 on target for Genoa, while SSC Napoli take 8, 1, and 2 shots, respectively, blocked by the teams. Ooh, baby. Guys, that was it today, man. What a game. I don't know where to start, guys. Like, I have mixed feelings about today's game. I like to pick your brain. We did get the win. I think that's the most important. We didn't see any major, no injuries, no red cards, no nothing. Joe, we haven't seen you in a long time. I'm going to start with you. I'd like to break the game down. I know you're eager to talk. We were backstage. It was great. Tons of energy. We're going to let it out right now.
Let it out, Joey.
Let's just start from the beginning. Give me like a quick summarization. Let's start in the first half. We'll get to the second half. But how did you see Napoli coming out the gate?
At first with the formation, I was kind of surprised with what I was seeing with Lobotka in the middle. But then obviously I realized why that was the case, and that was because he wanted Spalletti wanted Elmas and Fabian to push up a little bit more to be the support with that false nine that Insigne was playing in, and Lobotka being mainly just the defensive role and staying back, basically not going any further past the half circle in the middle. But I mean, we started off a little slow, and Genoa was really pressing hard. And I honestly, listen to me. I'm not going to take anything away from Napoli because they actually did play a good game. They got the approach correct, considering our injuries, our suspensions, particularly to Osimhen. But the approach was good, but Genoa's approach was, in that case, considering what they were coming up against, which was us, was slightly better. They actually held us down, and they played a more defensive approach. They tried to go on the counter a few times, which, considering how deep their midfield is, because they played a 5-man midfield, they literally cluttered that space. And that's not anything negative towards us. That's more positive towards them, because they do it. Listen, I mean, Genoa, in my opinion, considering what I watched today, maybe because I didn't actually have the opportunity to watch Genoa versus Inter, maybe it was a fluke. I don't know. Maybe they just got started off on the wrong foot, because it looked like they actually, we won the game. But it was a very, I would say that both of the coaches' approaches, the players that were in the game, their heads, everything was just, it was a good game. It was a very good game. And they pegged us back. And we actually overcame some of those circumstances. Di Lorenzo making that error. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I would say that, it was a good game.
Well, before the goal, I certainly agree with you. It seems even in the last game with Napoli, kind of like starting off slow, building into the play. Much props to Genoa today. Sometimes these teams don't get enough credit that they deserve. They played excellent against Napoli today. They definitely gave them a hard time in the midfield. I'm with you there. Vincenzo, how did you see it when Napoli stepped out on this field today?
I thought the first half was very balanced. As Giuseppe was saying, Genoa put up a good fight. I think Ballardini is a very underrated coach. To be honest, I think he gets the job done at these small teams where they have these presidents who are not patient. And I think he came in and, it was a completely different performance from Genoa's last game to this game. Obviously, being at home with the fans probably helped a great deal. On the other hand, I was impressed with their pressing and with their they had belief. You could tell that Genoa believed they could get something out of this game. And a lot of times when these small teams face us, you can the subtext is that they don't really believe. They're going to try. They're going to give it the try. But Genoa really, you could tell, felt that they could do something against us. And I was impressed with that. And I was impressed with their mentality. Where I was more disappointed with us was in the second half. I thought that if this isn't going on too much, you can stop me. I just wanted to quickly say that I thought Ballardini's switch at halftime, putting on the two different strikers, and as well, he pulled the trigger pretty early with all those changes. I thought they were great. I thought they caused us a lot of problems.
Sure.
And I thought I was disappointed with Spalletti's tactics in the second half. In the first half, I thought we came out well. It was a good battle back and forth. Second half, I was disappointed. In particular, after that goal, they had made so many changes and we hadn't done any changes yet at that point. Not even substitution wise, but also with the tactics. I was expecting us to come out a half and step it up. He was going to go in, make the necessary adjustments, and we'd come out on top. Right. And I thought Genoa was on top, but then at the end, we were able to
right when we needed it.
Right when we needed to. And credit to Spalletti and the team and the subs for that. So in the end, that's what matters. But if I had to say, I thought for 75% of the second half, Genoa had the upper hand. But we still won.
I guess, hey, we come away with the 3 points. I guess that's the most important. Good, bad, or ugly, we still come away. Rafa, we had, obviously, with Ozinem out, at first, when we were doing the lineup to kind of post on the Far From Vesuvius page, they said that Insigne was going to be that false nine. No, Foot Mob had reported originally that Lozano was going to be the false nine, with Insigne starting to the left. But we saw at game time that wasn't the case. Overall, I'd like to know, because I have my opinion on this, but I'd like to know your outlook about that whole, and how did it work for you? How did you see that working for the team, and how effective was it?
So for me, I again, working the Far From Vesuvius Twitter account, I had posted that it was indeed Chucky Lozano starting in the false nine, because Tutto Napoli, that's where I got my source from. Tutto Napoli had posted that right as the starting 11 was announced. But
sorry,
Alfonso says that we were just joined, and wow, he thought he was joined by Paolo Cannavaro.
It's his
twice,
stunt man.
Maybe
it's
twice.
Stunt man.
For real.
We got Fabio and Paolo Cannavaro down there.
Oh my God.
We'll take
For those
those
listening.
We'll take.
comparisons.
Hey, I
We'll take
got to
that.
pull. I didn't want 3 eggs on the show, so I put a hat on.
Yeah,
You know?
For those listening live, go over to the YouTube show or check the Twitter out, Rough Rant. But yeah, so that was my understanding was that it was going to be Chucky Lozano. But if you really took a look at it, the false 9 position was really interchangeable. There was a lot of times where you saw Insigne dropping back into the midfield or more closer to the midfield, and then Lozano up in the middle. Same thing with Elmas and Insigne moving from side to side and stuff like that. That's the great thing about Napoli's formation is it's so interchangeable. What I thought about Insigne starting in the false 9 role, I didn't mind it at all. I mean, he had 2 really good chances in the first half. The one that hit the post, Legna Napoli, hashtag Legna Napoli.
Oh, it's not going to be our.
It's a thing that we're gonna keep track of. That's one so far, okay. but then the one shot that was stung Sirigu's palms. You know, I think as far as chances on goal, it was more Napoli in the first half. But it's just a testament to how versatile we really are. We don't have Osimhen, then not that it's no problem because he's a force that's missed, but we could get away with having, no big man against these, kind of smaller teams. Now, taking nothing away from Genoa because they really actually played 2 different games from last week and this week. They really did come out.
2 different teams. I agree.
Sure. And Ballardini changed it up just a little bit this week, but the defense, the back 3 stayed the same. And the midfield for the most part was the same except for Gideone coming in and adding a 5th member to the midfield, and then you had the two new strikers up top. But Insigne in that role, I mean, he can run all over the place. You saw in the first half after the goal, he was back on defense, helping out and amping the crowd up when he won a ball. So
right.
So it doesn't really matter to me whether it's Insigne, Lozano, Elmas, wherever they are on the pitch, because they work very well to when one has to come back, the other one goes forward. To me, it just makes a little more sense that it's Lozano at the center forward position because he does have a handful of matches with Mexico at that position, and I think he's a little more natural there, where Insigne can drift back and like kind of play make from there. Yeah. But all in all, listen, it worked, got the job done.
Right. I want to get into
Chin, by the way.
Hey. Yeah, I got the blue one now, man, bro. Look, I got the new hot shit.
What's that?
My cat took the white one. You saw? I put it on Instagram.
I saw that.
And he doesn't want to give it back, so I had to buy another one. Maybe I'll get you the blue one too, and you can give that one to the dog.
I mean, it's the white and the blue. You know what I mean?
Right. It was Napoli colors. Yeah.
I gotta get me one of those.
I'm gonna
I really
get
do too. Yeah.
Guys, Christmas
we're gonna
coming
send
along.
them out.
Christmas gifts.
I like a mug, a shirt, a hat. I mean, a hat, definitely a hat. You know what I mean?
Merch. We're the merch guys. We're coming. No
Unas is an animal, by the way, sir. He says, we're going to get to this, guys, once we get into the second half.
Oh, yes.
But I want to talk a little bit more about...
by the way, everybody.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there you go. Red Calcio Napoli
USA, baby.
You can't see it, but yes, I am. Yes, all right. Everywhere in Napoli,
right,
yes. I even wear it out. Sir. People always ask me about this stuff. Yeah,
and if anybody in the chat noticed the denim kit, we spoke about that the other day. Well, guess what? I pulled the trigger and I got it, baby.
Yeah, you did.
It's one of the only brand new 3XLs that I can find.
Looks fabulous.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It was a diamond in the rough. But here's my deal. I'll be honest. I wasn't completely satisfied with Insigne in the middle and Lozano on the right. I felt like we almost wasted Lozano this game. That's kind of I don't know how you. I'd like for you guys' response. Vincenzo, I'll pick you first. To me, it's not that I don't like when Insigne plays centrally. He did it with Italy. He scored goals. He did well. The crisscross and the zigzag, and I don't mind. But to be honest, I just don't feel we got everything we needed out of Lozano today. And I don't think it's his fault because he came onto the field off the bench last game and was he was directly responsible for that goal almost. He practically he didn't get credited with the assist, but he sent that ball to Elmas right next to him, and Elmas scored. But I didn't see any of that today. I didn't see the speed, the pace. His biggest, and I'm not trying to overvalue speed, but his biggest weapon is his pace, and I just didn't see that being utilized today. We were talking in the chat, Vincenzo. I know in the Renaissance chat, he's a guy that you send in, right? You play him in. I didn't see a whole lot of that today. I'd like your thoughts about that as far as those two in the positions and how you felt. And Joe, I'm gonna kick it over to you after Vincenzo, so stand by, okay?
Yeah, I too was expecting Lozano to start in the middle, but then when I saw that it wasn't the case, you know what it brought my mind back to was there was a couple of games last season where we started Lozano in the middle, and what I found is when Lozano was right next to Politano, they were almost crowding each other out and making similar runs, even though they have different characteristics. They tended, when they were next to each other, I almost felt like, you know what I'm saying?
They were like overlapping.
So they were overlapping a little bit. And I think that may have been why Spalletti decided to put Lozano on the left for the most part. Of course, they did interchange to a degree, but Lozano on the left, Insigne in the middle, and Politano on the right. And I think that was more why, because then when Lozano's on the left, then he's not going to clash with Politano as much because they're on opposite sides of the field. But I think it is important to keep in mind, Lozano did make a couple of great runs. Remember, he was taken down right in front of the box.
Right.
But I think that he's not fully fit. That's clear. So he has a few of those runs in him, but he can't do that for 90 minutes or even maybe 70 at this point. That was a pretty bad tackle that we all know he succumbed to in preseason, and I don't think he's fully, fit after that because he wasn't with them very long. So I think that may have been why. As for how much it worked, I thought it worked to a degree, but I don't know that putting Lozano in the middle today would have made it better. I think we would have been hampered either way as compared to having Osimhen with everyone in their natural role.
All right, I'm feeling it. Joe,
what
do you think?
Point, yeah.
Fair point.
Yeah, he actually touched on something that he was absolutely right about. Basically, he would have clashed with Politano because he's a natural righty, and they say that he could play on both sides, but clearly he favors the right more. So I could see exactly what Vincenzo's talking about when you would kind of just drift a little bit to the right and then kind of overlap Politano. I guess in the case of where we are, or like where we were in the game with our forwards, I mean, like there was no other way to have gone about it. Basically, it's like you have Insigne who could play a central role because we've seen him take shots with both feet. We have, from either atop the box, on the inside, or whatever it is. So like he would have been able to make a pass because, I mean, I don't know whether or not anybody has noticed this lately, though, but Insigne is not really a selfish player. So, it could have made sense. He would have stayed in the middle and then either given chances to Politano or Lozano. Unfortunate thing is, though, is that Lozano's not – I don't want to say that he's not a lefty, but he's more predominantly a righty, I guess you could say. If he's got to favor anything, it would be the right. That's why he seemed like a bit of a fish out of water in that regard. But I mean, like, I don't want to say that he had a bad game. You know what I mean? He did what he had to. He actually helped in defense a lot. Definitely, clouded up space a little bit in the midfield. That's one thing about Lozano that a lot of people don't realize, though, is that he is a bit of a smart player. If he knows that there's a bit of a hindrance with what he's doing, he actually tries to not overcompensate, I'm sorry, but more compensate for whatever he, can do. Like, he helped in defense a little bit. He actually let Elmas push up a little bit more, if you notice that, on the left, because he knows that he's a better lefty than actually he is. And he did try to drift a little bit into the middle, thus creating a chance for Insigne to push up a little bit more and kind of, in other words, slant the field a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes any sense. Basically, in other words, he pushed back himself a tiny bit to let Elmas come up a little bit, thus creating that slant for Politano to be more towards the corner and, obviously try to create more chances for either one of them. And that's why you saw Lozano be more on top of the box. That's why you saw Fabian be more on top of the box. That's when he was actually able to take the shot. You saw where Politano was when he gave the ball to Fabian. Like, he was at more of that slant because Lozano pushed in a little bit more. So, I guess you could say, Lozano's a smart player. He is. And I think he knew that because he's lacking in something, he can actually try to compensate for it with something else. And he did. I mean,
Rafa,
He's
So
effective.
totally with you guys. Totally with you guys there. Rafa, your overall view with Insigne being central today. Chucky to the left, Insigne being central, just that whole dynamic.
I
for
mean,
the team,
like I said earlier, either way for me works. I mean, like I said, dude, I saw times where Lozano was in front of goal, and he even had a shot. I think it was in the second. It might have been in the second half. Might have been. I don't remember exactly. It's all a blur. But he had a shot that was well saved by Sirigu, and could have scored the goal. It almost made it 2-1.
Right.
Yeah, you know what? No, it was 2-0. Sorry. Yeah, it was in the first half. Sorry about that.
First half, we got.
It was in the first half. But for me, Lozano, so to the point where he's a right winger here, I'm almost positive that he was a natural left winger with Mexico or with even PSV, and moved to the right to sort of learn the right wing position as well because of Insigne being on the left. That's why he's always put on the left when it comes to, because it could easily started Lozano on the right today and then Unas on the left, right, for Insigne to be in the middle or what have you, you know what I mean? Or even Elmas on the left. And then, we would have had, instead of going to 4-3-3, going to 4-2, But here, the point that I'm trying to make here is that when Lozano's on the pitch, things happen. Things are dynamic. Things are fast. Today, I would say besides that chance, he was a little bit contained by the defense. I really think Ballardini got Genoa's motivation changed after the Inter loss, and I think Lozano was kind of held to a little bit of a like to not play his game as much. I think Politano covered him pretty well on the covered that side well, and also something that I my cousin pointed out as we were watching the game together. It seemed a lot like today the ball was being played more towards Politano's side.
Politano's side. I'm with you there.
Yeah. So for me it was more like Politano doing his thing and Lozano trying to get in, because you saw there was besides the shot that was saved by Sirigu, there was that header that came in early in the match where we almost scored 1-0, and there was Lozano right in the middle of the take.
Yep.
Right.
So yep. I honestly really, the interchangeable factor is really key for me, especially when we're missing Osimhen, because we've proven now more. two matches, maybe a match in 3 quarters where we can bag winners against the lower teams without Osimhen, which means we can rest him a little bit more. We have confidence to rest him a little bit more, maybe before Europe or what have you. So there's that, yeah.
To your point, Rafa, about the interchanging, I think it was during a switch was when we scored that goal. At this point, Chucky Lozano was in the middle of the field, and Insigne was over to the left. He sends that beautiful long cross all the way to Politano. Politano cuts in, sees Fabian, and Fabian, which, as Giuseppe as my witness, cuts to the middle and takes that beautiful left shot, beautiful kick with his left foot into the net right outside the box.
I think it's almost every goal
all day long. I want Fabian to do this way more. I think
he's got to be able to come forward a little bit more. He has to.
That's what he's meant to do.
Right.
That's what he's meant to do.
He can't just stick back. I'm okay all day with Lobotka being the guy to be that sort of like Demme role when he's
and
not
he did
here
it
to
today.
sit back.
In fact,
yes.
We're gonna move. Let's just fuck it. Let's move to the midfield. I mean, we saw the switch. I'm sorry, Rafa. Did I cut you off? I think I cut you off.
No. Let's go.
No, because here's the deal. I saw Insigne to the left.
It's a rant. I'm going to cut you off right now.
All right, yeah.
Don't worry about it, man.
I cut you off.
We're ranting.
Your mother off.
There's nothing proper. There's nothing proper about this. There's nothing proper about this. Let's just rant it.
I'm surprised it lasted this long. I mean,
we're not Napoli. We cut each other off every single day, every minute of the day.
It's how we drive. It's how we talk. It's
poised and composed for this long.
But when I say it's because I'm a Napolitan, my fiance, she rolls her eyes. Oh, please give me a break. Well, it's for real. I'm not kidding.
I'm not kidding. I thought I would have been the first one to interrupt. I swear to God.
I mean, listen, do it. But Ralphie, no, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No big deal. But all I'm saying is that it was when I saw Insigne, the reason why, and I made the comment at the beginning of the show about wasn't so crazy about it, is because when I did see the goal, it was where I like the players to be, which was Insigne to the left, Lozano in the middle. Politano gets the ball, gives it to Ruiz, who's a little bit more central, or he takes it next to him and moves a little bit more centrally and takes that blast. I don't mind Fabian Ruiz taking those kicks, especially over Mario Rui or
Dude,
or
almost every goal
else.
he scored is from outside the box. Am I correct
He is
or wrong?
great
Yeah,
there. He
it
is
is.
great. He has a curler. As Giuseppe as my witness, he has a curler there. So I want to talk a little about these midfielders now. Go ahead, Giuseppe, and then we'll move on to Vincenzo. A little bit about this midfield.
All right. No, it was listen. That midfield, that the way that it worked, I like at first too. Though I even said it also. Lobotka at the very beginning, I was kind of confused up until like maybe the 5th minute or whatever it is, and then obviously I saw him drop back and he was in front of the defenders. That's honestly one of the reasons why we did so well in defense. Also, can I say that every defender did fantastically except for the one error that Di Lorenzo had with the goal. I'm going to get into that eventually, though. Eventually, we get into the defenders. But Lobotka, where he was, actually made perfect sense because he is naturally defensive midfielder, just like Fabian is naturally more of an offensive midfielder. Honestly, I'm going to say this right now. Ralph, we actually had this conversation. Dude, we would bash, you and I, we would bash Fabian constantly because of his setbacks. No,
we
but
hated
then eventually,
him
though,
at one point.
I mean, like, I just thought that he was a hindrance on what we were trying to do progress-wise, and if we could sell him, we could sell him. Honestly, I might have been wrong in that case, though, because, no, like, if you see him, when he pushes more up, he's more of a distributor. He's somebody that actually has the ability to give more through balls and get more, like, we talk about opening up space for ourselves. He's actually the one to be able to do it, in all honesty. Like, and even look at the shots that he takes from atop the box. It reminds me of, what's his name? Demiley. When he always takes shots.
Oh,
the
another
box.
one of my darlings. I'm another. I'm also.
No,
Zimili,
dude, Demiley. No, he reminds
fanboy,
me a little
man.
bit of like. He reminded me a little bit more of Demiley, though. How Demiley was actually able to open up spaces, and like I honestly I was wrong about him in some cases, though. Like he's more of an offensive player. He should not be back. So, like, in other words, if Demi comes back, or if anything, if we have the ability, like, him and Zielinski, I've been saying it since day one, though. Him and Zielinski could sub out, each other, talk about preservation.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, dude,
Vincenzo?
and then even outside, like, we could give so many people so many rests. I already have ideas.
Vincenzo,
oh my God.
I like your account. Well, like your opinion on that.
Well, regarding Lobotka.
Yeah,
regarding Lobotka, clearly we all know he's made a physical improvement since last season. To me, he plays the same way he's always played, just he has more mobility and he gets around with more ease than he did last season. But he is a regista. We know that. He was brought in to be a regista, and that's his position.
Right.
Now, I think that the reason we're playing 4-3-3 right now is because of the Demme injury. And Spalletti looked at the midfield and said, to form a midfield 2 with Lobotka Fabian or Lobotka Elmas just doesn't make sense. And so right now we're playing the 4-3-3, and I think it works with the personnel. But I do have a feeling that if Demme comes back, Spalletti will revert to his favored 4-2-3-1. In which case, sorry, Rafa, go ahead.
No. I wanted to intervene because how much of that has to do with Osimhen's injury and the fact that we don't have an out-and-out striker or our regular number 10. Like, does that does that change Spalletti's formation? Like, did that change in the middle? Because we started off as a 4-2-3-1 last game too.
No, last game was 4-3-3.
I'm going to want to comment on that eventually.
Was it a 4-3-3? Was it really?
Last game was 4-3-3 as well. It's simply the Demme. It's the Demme injury more so than Osimhen being out for why we're playing 4-3-3, in my opinion. As for Fabian, listen, I've been right about players and I've been wrong about players, but I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I never lost faith in Fabian. I never wanted him to be sold unless it was for an astronomical fee, because to me, he has probably one of the highest ceilings of all the players on our team. I think he can be a world-class player. With his height, his elegance, his shot, his vision, even though he's not 100% fully fit right now from a physical point of view, I don't think he has the energy levels that he, should at his peak. He still was able to contribute, and I'm just happy to see him, getting some respect, and hopefully over the course of the season, people can see what I've always seen. Now, that's not to say he's been consistent throughout his tenure at Napoli. He's had dips and he's had times where he was more consistent, but I've always believed in him. And just regarding Elmas, what a step up this guy has made this season.
Yeah.
Purely from a belief standpoint, from a mentality standpoint, and a physical standpoint. I was just talking to, I think it was Matt Lanave on Twitter. He used to look like a boy last season. Now he looks like a man.
Now he looks like Lennon, John Lennon and shit.
It's a big difference
with the hair and everything else. Yeah.
So
certainly.
So I like the way that this midfield chemistry works right now. When Demme comes back, or when potentially we get in the Gaetano / Bakayoko replacement, depending on that, if that person comes in, depending on their characteristics, we may revert back to a 4-3-3. But the last thing I want to say is, as much as I do think Fabian is more of an offensive midfielder per se than a defensive or a midfielder, I don't think he works as a number 10 like Zielinski does. I think it'll be, if we do a 4-2-3-1, I think it'll be Zielinski and Elmas rotating in that role rather than Fabian. But that will remain to be seen.
I just don't think it works with the group that they're in. I mean, he's played at number 10 with Spain under 21s before, and that's where he really caught a lot of attention, winning the under 21 Euro in 2019, being the player of the tournament. With this group of players, the way Gattuso had him playing last year, and the way he's been groomed, I think where he is right now is exactly where he needs to be. I think he's really flourished in that role, Fabian. And I do want to say about Lobotka, I'm really impressed about his physique. Yeah. I'm really impressed about his.
Is asking Rafa, so
I'm
glad you're
addressing
it. Yeah.
Okay.
But go on. Christopher, I hope this helps. I hope this answers your.
Dude, the Lobotka for me is key, but and not just in a starting role. He can come off the bench and provide what we need now. Listen, everybody jumps down, and it's not just fans of Napoli; it's fans of everybody. When a player has a bad season or is a little bit out of form, it happens to every athlete in every sport. Every single athlete goes through a bad season. I don't even want to there's not one athlete that hasn't had a slump.
Right.
We get Lobotka, he's not the best.
Right.
We get, Koulibaly had that one season. He's a friggin' monster now. Koulibaly is back to the way he is supposed to be. He's a monster. He's top defender in the world at 30 years old.
100%.
Insigne was slumping too.
Speaking
we got to give people the benefit of the doubt.
Everybody has off. Everybody becomes off sometimes.
I was saying this to. I was saying this to Genoa Club. I was saying this to Genoa Club Toronto. They're about to sign Maksimovic, or they already have, or what have you. And it's not like, he should be excited about that Maksimovic signing because he's still a good defender. Just because he had a bad season last year doesn't mean that he's going to be a bad defender for Genoa or elsewhere.
No, he'll be great for them.
Yeah. Isai had a goal the other day with Lazio. So, I mean,
look at Isai.
Things happen, But, guys, this is going to be a perfect segue into the back line, to the second half. But let's do our beast of the match. Guys, everybody in the chat, I'd like you to participate. Let me know who do you think your beast of the match today, all right?
Yeah,
Man of the match.
Curious.
By the way,
I don't know.
I'll say this much. Lobotka really impressed me today. I want to say that much. I thought he played excellent. I don't know if you guys know yet. I know me and Rafa discussed it, but let's find out, guys. Here we go.
I'm curious, actually.
Guys, I had to do it right here.
Unquestionably
a beast today, okay? He was the best defender out there, and I think he's the reason why we were able to hold down Genoa. I think he's the reason why we didn't give up more goals. Meret, pretty decent, had a couple sloppy, not handling issues. I thought Dilo possibly was our worst defender today. Manolas did okay. He had a couple clearances. He had a nice slide tackle. But this man today, I'm giving him the beast because he literally kept the whole defense together today. I think he was the one that he just injected that quality. He was able to make up the difference when everybody else was slacking, guys. I would like, whether you did agree or disagree, I kind of want everybody's input. I'd like to see what the chat is doing. Slam dunk. Thank you, sir. But guys, today he again, Laboca played great game. I really liked what he did. Politano really helps us out on that right side over there, especially if D'Lo's struggling. But all in all, I think today this game stayed at 1 because of this man right here. I think he helped Napoli win.
And he even had an opportunity at goal. Like, guy's a monster.
He did.
he definitely kept the defense tight. There's a lot of leadership qualities in Koulibaly that just he's in the right place at the right time, knows where to be, knows how to tackle, knows how to get the ball out of the area, knows what to do. He just is. And I couldn't even pinpoint one specific time where today he helped Napoli out with the defense. Manolas too. Him and Koulibaly, they get a lot of, again, for me, best defensive duo in Europe, if you ask me. When Manolas is playing his absolute best, him and Koulibaly, there's no stopping him.
Mm-hmm.
The goal today, the fault of the goal today was mostly Di Lorenzo. It was very, very, very like the final in the Euro 2020, the goal that he gave up in the final.
Oh my God!
So there is yeah. No, so there is
it did.
It did, right? There is a very.
It did. It looked
Sedeno
exactly
said that in
the
the
same.
chat, right?
I swear to God, it looked exactly the same.
It was.
Exactly
It was.
The same.
I feel
There's
like
there's one or
identical.
two. Yeah, but let's not get jumped down Di Lorenzo's throat either, because he's very good defensively as well. But
No.
all in all, the defense I think did really, really well. And Koulibaly is a spearhead of it. So yeah, man, beast of the match for me for sure. Foot Mob gave it to Fabian, I believe.
He get man of the match. Man of the match.
Hey, really?
Man of the match, right?
But
yeah.
remember, beast of the match.
Yeah.
Guys, I just to remind everybody, Rafa, beast of the match is not the man of the match necessarily,
Right.
but is a person who had
showed a little bit of different qualities, right?
Yeah,
not necessarily the best player, but somebody who worked very very hard to keep things tight. Right.
So there he is.
That was him.
That was the man. He was the man today, guys.
He definitely, he definitely.
I was listening to Joe Fischetti's pod the other day when he had Joey and there was another gentleman on there, and they were talking about Joey had said the other Joey had said that sometimes that Koulibaly can be a little underrated, and I don't, or not underrated. He used another word. It's kind of like overlooked or whatever, and
underappreciated.
Maybe underappreciated. Yeah, I think that was the word. My response to that is like, I don't think necessarily Napolitans underappreciate Koulibaly. I just think that we already trust him. Like when he takes the field, we don't really worry about K2. We know he's going to do his job. Mm-hmm. If not, he's beast of the match every match. You know what I mean? Like my BOM, it would be insignificant. Yeah. He's beast of the match every match. I just can't give it to him. I'm trying to show some other performances from other players, but he's beast of the fucking season. He's beast of the decade. You know what I mean? This guy, and he's certainly not underappreciated. We love him. It's just that we don't worry about him because he's good. He's that good. So just to respond to that, all love shown to Joe Fischetti and the boys on the Forza Napoli podcast there, but. I just want you to know that's Koulibaly doesn't need an armband to prove he's a leader. Basically, it's just like it's Koulibaly goes without saying. That's just how I feel about how I feel about K2 guys. But I do want to talk a little bit more about the defense today. Mario Rui, pretty decent performance. D'Lo
again,
Mario Rui 2 for 2. He did okay. Vincenzo, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that beast of the match. Not man of the match, but beast of the match. You can make an argument for Rui in this game if you just look at it.
Yeah.
For this game, if you ignore everything else, if you ignore, because I of course I want to bring another left back in and all that.
Go ahead.
I'm not trying to revert that agenda or anything like that, but he played well and free kick. That goal.
Right.
He if it was not for his free kick. Putting it on a plate for Petagna at the end of the game, we don't win that game. We do not. There was no time after. We wouldn't have scored after that.
True.
That was the time to score. It was a set piece. We had our big man there, and he put it right on his head, and it was perfect. It was a perfect free kick.
last season he did the same thing for Bakayoko in the win against Udinese, 2-1 for the match winner.
Yeah.
This season he does it for Petagna. Petagna, 4 match winning goals off the bench out of 6 total in a Napoli Maglia Azzurra. And we're all talking about we need a new left back and we need Petagna to go and to get Cavani and to this and to that. To be 100% honest with you, I don't think we need either of it. And the most I think we need is maybe one more midfielder, and that's it. Now, I'm not opposed to getting another left back, even if it's a left back that can switch with Mario Rui every now and then. I'm not opposed to it. But if we don't get it, I'm okay. Everybody says play the kids, play the kids. We got Zanoli on the bench. Everybody wants to play the kids. We got a guy named Zanoli that's still on the bench, and Spalletti is apparently fine with it. Yeah. Because, remember, he said that he's fine with the squad the way it is. If we can upgrade it, that's fine. So, I know that there's a lot of rumor about Petagna moving on to Sampdoria, and it looks like it might happen.
He blew a kiss to the fans today, man. I don't know. Did you see his reaction after that?
Dude, and then the reaction that he went to when he went, man,
he went right to the fans. He went.
No, but did you guys see what his actual celebration? I don't know if they cut it off on TV. There's images. He grabs his junk. Did you see that? And he's holding it. Oh yeah, I'll send it to you.
Oh man,
that almost alone makes him beast of the match. Just
dude, I think he has a little chip on his shoulder right now, man.
I think I knew what he knew what he said whenever. Now that you mentioned he made that gesture, I'm pretty sure I knew what he might have said in that case.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But before we move on, because I know you're going to probably want to talk about the forward line and maybe the second goal. I just wanted to say on the defense, because I just mentioned about Rui, but Koulibaly is the best player we've had since Maradona. It's simple as that.
That's not even a surprise.
It's the only other player we've had who you could say is the best in his position in the world for year and year and year and year and year. You can make the argument, okay, Cavani was one of the best strikers, or Higuain of 1 year was one of the best strikers, but year in, year out, he's top 3, if not number 1 defender in the world. And with him on your team, you anything is possible. You can go against any team and win because of Koulibaly. Manolas, I've been impressed with Manolas considering all this. He wants to go to Greece. Yeah. The way he's been celebrating and playing, he's not playing as if he's 1 foot out the door. And lastly, on Di Lorenzo, he did make a couple of errors today, unfortunately. But I think he's been doing better in attack and getting forward a lot more. So it may also be that he's having trouble trying to get that balance, because last year he was always more of the defensive guy. Rui would go up. But I thought in today's game, particularly in the first half, he was making a lot of deep runs.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm not trying to make an excuse for him, but maybe because he's focusing on emphasizing that element of his game, maybe he's lacking a little bit at the back. So hopefully he can find that balance again, and can, wipe out those kind of errors. But yeah, that's kind of what I thought about him.
I'm with
you.
So
yeah, you think that maybe you think maybe Di Lorenzo, he has a trouble shifting responsibility? Maybe you think that might be it.
It's a lot of space to cover, right? He looked a little spent in the first place.
He wants to try to create more chances, but it's hard for him to get back and everything. Yeah, I get it. Maybe that's why he didn't look to see if anybody was in behind him covering him. If he made an error, or if he might have made an error, which he did. There was a
point when Rui came to the other side. I think towards the end of the game, Lobotka certainly helped. I said this a couple shows ago. I was like, you're gonna see the midfield pitch in. It's not like our midfield doesn't pitch in. I think they actually do a pretty good job helping out the defense.
We
don't talk about that at all, right? Our wingers, everybody comes back. Yeah, everybody comes to do the dirty work, man. We saw it today. We saw Fabian Ruiz. Listen, Fabian Ruiz, he's not my favorite defensively, but he tries, Lobotka, he got back there, and that's why I thought part of his game today, Vincenzo, you mentioned him being a regista. He did all of that excellent today, and he helped out on D. If he can just continue to do that,
that's exactly what
maybe he was comfortable. Right? He seemed more comfortable.
Yeah, it's a matter of comfort. I mean, that's what it all comes down to. It's a matter of comfort. You know what I mean? Obviously, if you feel out of place, like Lozano felt like he might have been today, like you don't play the same way. Like it's a matter of where you feel better at, and you know your strengths. Like in other words, you need to try to strengthen your weaknesses. I get that, but there are going to be like because that's not their predominant positions, whatever the case is, you're going to expect errors. You're going to see errors. When it becomes a consistent problem, that's when maybe you should try to restructure where that player is, or at least try to change his way of thinking, whatever. You know, that's one thing that was key today, and you actually saw a lot of players play to their strengths. Unfortunately, considering the circumstances, Lozano, we know his quality, and we know where he's supposed to be, but it just seemed like we didn't really have a choice in the matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like, well, I know what we're going to do to him, but what else are we supposed to do?
I have. Sorry, go on.
No, go on ahead.
Go ahead,
I wanted to actually ask you, Joe, or Giuseppe, what do you prefer, Joe or Giuseppe?
It doesn't matter. Giuseppe.
Okay, all right.
Can we call you?
Okay,
Can we call you Pepe?
Yeah, no, I like Giuseppe too.
Yeah.
All right, so let me ask you this: like, now that I'm thinking about it, if we're in this situation without Osimhen again, and keeping in mind that Lozano, who's one of my favorite players, but he's not 100% fit, and perhaps I just feel like Unas is better centrally than Politano or Lozano. Maybe not better than Insigne. But to me, Unas is one of those guys where I don't see Unas necessarily as a winger. He can play on the wing, but I think he makes great runs in the middle. And I wouldn't mind seeing him tested at the false nine. And then you could put Insigne and Lozano or Insigne Politano in their normal roles, and they could interchange.
Yeah.
And then you still have Petagna off the bench. I'm not saying that could work for sure, but he has almost that Mertens-esque quality where I think he can play in the middle quite well.
I swear to God, as you were just saying all that, you know what I was going to be like, kind of like Mertens, right? Like, because basically what you're describing is Mertens.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, with Mertens out,
like,
I'm with it. Rafa, what do you think?
That kind of makes sense when you actually say it like that, because the way that you were describing him, it sounds kind of like Mertens, and I never actually always. See, I swear to God, I'm glad that I'm not the one that actually said it myself, though, because I've always thought it, though. Like, is Unas? No, Unas seems he plays a little like Mertens. Like, they have the same sort of approach style.
And his pace today was really nice.
Yes,
really
very
good.
dynamic off the bench.
He
seems
like a younger version of Mertens. Like, that's how Mertens used to play like 6-7 years ago.
I think it's worth keeping him like is
Hey,
expected. I think it's expected.
I'm not the only one then. Okay.
No.
Especially if it's only for 10 mil.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one. Thank you. Like and I said it too though. I was like, Jesus, we keep loaning this kid out for like the last 2 years. Why don't we just give him a shot?
Use him, right.
Or sell him off outright, but for more than 10 mil, like
for 10 mil. For 10 mil, you can't replace him.
No.
You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. And he's been on fire since preseason.
Let's think about this now, okay? Thinking about hindsight. All right, okay. Playing on that, I want to know this: Mertens, he only extended for a year, correct? Am I wrong?
I think it was 2 years last year. Yeah.
At the end of this season, that's it.
Yeah, but I really don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think he's going anywhere. He'll re-sign again.
I'm not going to discredit
man.
I'm not discrediting Mertens at all in any way.
How old will he be at the end of this season?
About
30.
35,
34.
I don't see unless he does a huge contribution this year. I'm not saying this is what I want.
Yeah.
But I don't see ADL offering him. Yeah. I mean, he might lowball him and give him like a $1 million contract, but I don't see. I think this is Mertens'
maybe
last
a directorial position, 36, 37, maybe he'll let him play until, and then
Mertens actually turns 35 at the end of the season. He's May 6th. So.
Holy shit! So then he
definitely
only has 2 seasons left. Let's be real,
guys. Between the shoulder, the ankle, it's not the same Mertens. Not to mention the salary too, man. I just don't think. I think he'll prepare for an overhaul next market. I mean,
yeah, but
2 years. I mean 2 years.
I think he goes to Belgium after this season or something like that.
I don't
I
know.
agree.
I think he retires at Napoli. I think he
think so,
signs
too.
for at least one more season and calls it a day after that. I think.
Yeah, but not at that same.
But
Not at that same
who
time.
retires at
Take a
Napoli?
pay cut.
Hamsik doesn't
And that's
retire. Callahan doesn't retire. None of these guys retire. Albiol didn't retire at Napoli.
Yeah.
Pepe Reina didn't retire at Napoli.
I think
If there's
Mertens
any-
is a different
if there's-
animal.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah,
I understand
I mean,
that.
honestly, I would have expected
But-
Hamsik to do it, but I mean, Mertens, he seems like the next likely one to do it. Actually, in my opinion.
I just don't think ADL is going to give him anything close to his contract when he's 35 years old. It's just
But
not.
I don't think he's going to ask for that. I think he realizes that. You know,
Let's
I'm sure
see.
that.
His time is almost up.
I think he get $4 million in Belgium.
No, but I think that his playing time is going to be less and less, and unfortunately he still has the quality, but he's getting a lot more injury prone as time goes on, and he's having these long absences. I mean, he was out for chunks of last season. He's already out again right now. He's still playing for his international team, which is tough at that age. And I just think that given Aurelio De Laurentiis's mentality and approach, I would be shocked if Mertens is offered a renewal at the end of this season, unless it's a very low ball renewal, in which case he'll probably make more money going somewhere else.
I mean,
I'm with Vincenzo there.
though,
I'm with Vincenzo, man. 100%.
I'm with you too, honestly, though. I mean, listen, he always professes love for the city, and to be honest with you, the one thing I would expect from him, the one thing I would expect from ADL to give him, and I hope that he does. I honestly thought that he would have with Hamsik, but maybe he just wanted to keep playing. But the one thing I hope for Mertens is 2 years and then directorial role, in my opinion. That's fair.
He's not going to take. He doesn't want it. I'm telling you. He's
too much of a fun. He's a fun-loving guy.
Yeah,
he wants to party.
Not
He
anytime
doesn't
soon.
He doesn't have kids. Him and his wife, they like to travel and to I think
that once his career is up, that's it. He's done. He's wiping his hands clean of soccer.
I think he might.
Right?
I think he might settle in Napoli and decide to live in Napoli.
Yeah.
That I wouldn't be shocked by.
More than that's one thing
Yeah.
I could see. He would definitely have a vacation house in Napoli. But the reason why I mentioned Mertens, though, the one reason why I mentioned Mertens, though, was to play on to Unas, though. Like, honestly, though, like, considering, okay, if we actually hold on to Unas for a season, can we actually see whether or not there's a possibility of him becoming Mertens' heir?
Correct.
Because there's a possibility of that.
It's possible. I think we have to start really considering these questions. We're going to see more and more transition. I believe we already went through a small transition. We're going to go through another one as some of these contracts expire, especially maybe hopefully getting back to champion skies. I don't think it's going to be easy to get to this top four.
No.
I still think this top four is unpredictable.
I just think now because the league is 100 times more open than it was last year.
I agree it's going to be tight. I agree it's going to be tight, but we have
certainly
we have the second best squad in the league, a third best at worst. So you have to get in the top four. There's no excuse. Juve is not the same. Inter, I'm impressed with their continued investments. They're looking good. I think Marotta is saving them. I think without him, they're shambles. So credit to Marotta with the way he's been able to replace the players who have left. But yeah, I think that we should be second or third. Obviously, I'd love if we finish first, but I'm just real. Yeah.
You two up top, and Vincenzo, maybe you'll agree with this 100%. Though I don't mean to cut you off, but yes, to play to exactly what you said, guys. What did I expect out of this season? I remember I told you guys, and I know you guys remember also. Rafa, you commented on it.
I forget
also
shit really easy, so just spitball the fucking thing.
Yeah, you're gonna have to tell us, man.
Just tell us, bro.
All right, okay.
You know how many people I talked to?
Get the clock on. Yeah, I'm in like 60
I
chats,
remember
bro.
I said, and I'll stick with it to the very end. Third place and the Europa League. That's my expectation of this season. In all honesty, that's entirely feasible.
Too far fetched. It's not too far fetched, man.
I think we can get second. I think that with Ronaldo gone, unless Juventus bring in a Pogba-esque midfielder at the last minute, I think we have a better squad than them now. And I think only Inter have a deeper squad than us.
And
So
doing his thing with them too.
Let's
Well,
not
yeah.
also, but listen, we can't discredit also Milan and Roma. Milan are beating Cagliari
No.
4-1 right now. Roma
So-
just scored their third against
Serious?
Salernitana.
I'm
So,
I'm
yes,
way more convinced
Holy
by Roma
crap.
than Milan. I've
I'll
been
tell you right
bullish
now,
on
Roma with
Mourinho.
Mourinho is going to be.
I agree. I think they get
And-
fourth.
They got
Hate to say it.
they got a lot of young players, Roma.
I hate to say this too, but watch out for Lazio with Sarri.
Lazio's my dark horse, man.
Lazio
100%.
will finish top 4.
Jerry
They will.
just
Only if Juventus don't.
No, so my prediction before
Lazio's a dark horse, bro.
before the window
This
is
race
over,
is gonna
I'm
be
gonna make
interesting
I'm
this year.
making
That
a
I
1
can
through
say for
20.
sure.
I'm making a 1 through
Right.
20 after the
I'd like to do one as
transfer
well.
market is up. But my top 4 before the Mercato, even before the season even started, was Juve, Inter, Napoli, Lazio. That was my top 4. Obviously, I think it's going to change given what's transpired in the last few days. But that
Right.
was my top 4 before the season started, and I got to
But
tell you,
Yeah.
gonna
Lazio
be
is looking really, really, really like the Napoli with Sarri was. I mean,
but here's where I have a bit of a bone to pick with that.
Okay, go ahead.
Defensively and in the midfield, they don't have the personnel we had. They do not have a midfield like Hamsik, Jorginho, Alan. Only Serge Milinkovic-Savic gets into that midfield, maybe out of their midfield. Luis Alberto is good, but I consider him almost more of an attacker. And they don't have a Koulibaly, Albiol, and the Pepe Reina they have is not the Pepe Reina we had. I think that their defense is going to be their weakness.
well, some people will say, hopefully, the Husai that we had is the Husai.
Well,
that they
exactly.
had.
There you go.
He didn't do that great. I mean, yeah, he
No.
scored, but he didn't do
but
fabulous that first
He
game.
scored against 10-man
Yeah,
Spezia. I
yeah,
get it.
Yeah,
You know,
like, I don't.
But I think Lazio are going to score a lot of goals, but I do think that they are going to be defensively weak. And I think Roma
Roma
are going to be more
in my
balanced.
opinion.
Roma are going to be a more balanced team than Lazio. They're not going to win 6-1 maybe, but I think they're going to be a lot harder to score against. And I think at home, Mourinho is going to make Roma impossible to beat. He's going to make that the Olimpico an absolute fortress. And I give Roma a slight edge over Lazio because of that, because I think they're more balanced. But yeah, it's going to be exciting. And Lazio can get top 4. Again, let's see what happens with Juve. Because right now it's not looking great.
Yeah,
So,
I know.
guys, listen, hold on. We're getting to
good.
the 1 hour mark. I want to cut out because this is a whole episode. Maybe we'll do something like this
For sure,
after
for
the
sure.
first month. I would
Yeah,
definitely like to come
absolutely.
back and review these teams and have this conversation again because I think it's important and there's so much I can have. Vincenzo, you want to cut in real quick?
Yeah, I just want to say before you go, we should all just maybe 30 seconds on Spalletti for this game only. Just what did you think about? What did you think
do some
about?
closing music,
Because we
guys.
talked about the players, we didn't really talk about him that much for this game.
I'll start. Why not? Spalletti, I like his calmness. In the meantime, guys, everybody in the chat, thank you. Let's get a big Forza Napoli going. I want to get it up on here. This song is about 3 minutes long, so I want to take that much time.
Cool.
Spalletti, not bad.
All
I
right,
think
that
I think the bench is really helping us more than anything. I know he's still tweaking things. I'm going to give him a little bit more time. I want to see a little bit more energy from him. I want to see a little bit more thunder from this team because they have it in them, and we need to see it. I like the balance. I like the calmness, but it has to be. You need those flashes of speed and energy, and I think giving a chance to the young guys like Gaetano Unas, hopefully they stay in the mix, I think is a good thing. But overall, not bad, but a little bit more energy. Joe, let's go, and then we'll just circle around, and we're going to cut out of here.
Spalletti, he's been doing okay, actually. Like, his approaches in certain cases with certain games, they've actually been much better. And, he thinks with his head, he adapts to the situation. So maybe Like I don't know. Like I can't really make a huge justifiable decision on
Two
them
games.
until
We
we
want to
get
know
more
these 2
deeper
games.
into
What
the
do you think?
season. No, these two games
games,
though,
yeah,
he's
what
actually done
That's
pretty
it.
well.
Pretty well.
I
That's
think
it.
he
So
actually
far, so
approached
good.
it pretty well. Yeah.
I think for me, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Rafa, no, we're gonna Rafa. We'll end with you, and then we'll say goodbye to
Okay.
everybody. Vincenzo,
Just quickly, just this game. Again, I was a little bit disappointed with the second half. I thought after halftime we would take a step up. Instead, I thought Genoa made the step up, and we were a little bit late to react with the substitutions. And I thought that it would have given us a more chance had we adapted a little bit earlier and come out and really had more control of the game in the second half. But credit to Spalletti, it worked. He opened the door at the very end. I do think there was a little bit of an element of luck in just how perfectly it went. But credit to him for the win. I just hope that next time, if we're having a challenging first half like we did against Genoa, where it's very balanced, that we can have a better halftime break and come out storming.
I'm with it. Rafa, close us out, and then we're gonna cut out. Thank you.
For me, Luciano Spalletti shows character. He shows a lot of character. He is experienced. He knows what he's doing. He makes the moves that needs to be made. Maybe to Vincenzo's point, today's moves were a little bit late, but at the same time, the moves were effective.
Sure.
And twice now, you talked about, let's judge Spalletti in his 2 matches. Twice we're put under pressure in hard situations, and twice we came out winners. And I know it's just Venezia, not I was gonna say Vicenza, and then
it's the V.
started saying your name. I know it's just Venezia, and I know it's Genoa who looked dismal last game, but these are the games that we have to win, and we're winning them. Okay, I'll be the first to admit that I was blinded by love by the Gattuso situation. In these matches, we don't pick up 3 points each last season, or maybe we get them in one and don't get them in the other.
Joe.
Now we're at 6 points. We go in. Let's save that for another one. But we go in. Listen to me. We go in to a match against Juventus after a break where most of our players are not going on international duty. Right. Most, not all, most. And we come back to a Juventus that is missing Cristiano Ronaldo, the player who has saved Juventus over the last 3 seasons, and the reason why they won 2 Scudetto and made the Champions League last year. We go into a Juventus, no matter who they bring in, they don't have that guy. So they also only have 1 point. If we can beat Juventus at the Maradona on September 12th,
we have to.
We will have 9 points to their 1.
That's a must win.
And I'm telling you right now, if anyone can do it, it's Luciano Spalletti.
There it is, guys. Love it, guys. Thank you so much. Again, big shout out to everybody in the chat. Thanks for sticking with us throughout. I saw Mr. Espresso here, Alex, saying that more content. Guys, we are here every Monday. We will be here every Monday. Tomorrow, we got Jay from SSC Napoli News on the show. Definitely check that out.
Big show tomorrow.
He's awesome.
Yeah, big show tomorrow. We're going to get in his head about the transfer market and all that. So be sure to catch that around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He's gonna be up drinking espresso with us. He's late out in England, so it's gonna be really nice to have him.
Don't forget to download Far From Vesuvius podcast. Don't forget to watch us on Raf and Raf Rant on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook. Follow all of us, all of our platforms. Raf and Raf Rant, Far From Vesuvius on all 3 platforms, all across the social media. Anywhere you can get your podcasts, Google, Apple, Spotify, Podbean. I mean, you name it, we're there.
It's all there, guys.
Look it up. We got 2-3 shows coming up every single week, aside from the rant. So we're going to have a lot going on. And again, I'm extending invitations. I'm going to extend an invitation to every guest we have. I'm extending invitations to anybody who's listening with 2 ears and a set of headphones. If you want to write for Far From Vesuvius, please DM me at Rafanopoli83. Get in touch with me. I'll give you a couple of tasks. You write them, you send them to me. We'll edit it. We'll post it on our WordPress page. We need authors. We need people who want to write pieces, opinions.
We're hiring.
Anything. Reach out. Let's get it going. The Far
Thank you,
From
guys.
Vesuvius Network is on top of its game, and Raff and Raff, the flagship show of the Far From Vesuvius Network, coming at you, baby.
Coming at you. Thank you, Rafa. Thank you again, Giuseppe from CNC USA. Vincenzo Bertillo, thank you again. It's always a pleasure to have you on. Guys,
always an
I'll see
honor.
you. Thank you again, everybody in the chat.
Always
Forza
a
Napoli.
pleasure.
We'll see you tomorrow night
Sempre.
for sure. And enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Ciao.
Ciao.
Be good.
Ciao, guys.
Bye.
Ciao.